Have you ever witnessed someone fight the same crippling habits for years, only to collapse back into them repeatedly? Some people strive to overcome dependencies like alcoholism, drug use, or issues such as severe weight gain and chronic procrastination, but they consistently revert to old patterns within days. You've probably seen someone declare they'd lose weight. This individual started an extreme diet, cutting out all perceived junk, began running and gym sessions daily. Yet when stress hit, and juggling family, work, studies, and the diet grew too much, this initiative crumbled, and the person returned to negative habits, possibly even deeper than before. I know this happens often, and maybe that someone is you. But what if I told you there's an approach merging several philosophies I've shared here that can help you conquer any bad habit, including obesity, alcohol, addiction, or managing procrastination? And the pinnacle? It's a supremely simple system. This system weaves together ideas like ikigai, Kaizen, hara hachibu, wabi-sabi, and gambaru. But I must warn you, this method defies what many productivity experts teach about transformation. It challenges what inspiration gurus push on us every day, and it will require you to do something that seems laughably small, so tiny that you'll question its power until it actually works. Before I unveil exactly how this system functions, I invite you to subscribe to Philosophy for the Life like this video, and comment below on which habit you most want to shift in your life. Today, I'll share the story of a man named David. David was 41 years old, weighed 143 kilos, and was slowly dying without knowing it. He wasn't a bad guy. He'd worked as a stock coordinator in a warehouse for 14 years. He woke at 5:15 a.m. and got home by 7:15 p.m. 2 kids, a wife, debts to settle, the average blue-collar man who cares for his family and forgets his own physique. His meals were whatever he could grab: breakfast in the car, lunch at his desk, dinner in front of the TV, because he was too spent to join the family table. Weekends were for burgers, soda, and the couch. He deserved it. After all, he worked like a horse. His body began signaling something was wrong, but he dismissed it. Climbing steps was exhausting, tying. His laces became a puzzle. He had to sit, inhale deeply, and push his gut. His children asked to play hide and seek, and he made up stories. His wife suggested a bike ride, but he was too weary. But what hurt the most? It wasn't the scale reading. It was the expression in his 6-year-old daughter's eyes when she stopped inviting him to play. She had accepted that her father didn't do games, and David saw that, sensed that, and took no action because he'd tried to change before. Twice he signed up for a gym for 3 months, but dropped out. He followed a paleo diet for 4 weeks, but quit. He tried dawn walks for 6 days, but gave up. He had entered that dangerous zone where most people surrender, without passing acceptance of failure. That's my nature. I've always been big. It's in my genes. My metabolism is low. I don't have the hours. Until the day your body shouts, no more. It was a Friday afternoon. David was in the yard with his 8-year-old son. No, he wasn't active. He was lounging in a deck chair watching the boy toss a ball solo. The son threw the ball too far. It ended up in the next-door shrubbery. Dad, can you get it? David stood. He trudged to the shrubs. He leaned down to grab the ball and couldn't straighten up. Not because he was hurt or sore. He simply didn't have the muscle in his thighs to hoist his own mass. He was kneeling in the neighbor's bushes, panting, struggling to rise, while his 8-year-old son looked on, quietly. The neighbor had to help him up. This might seem unreal to you, but believe me, many face moments where they can't do simple everyday tasks. That evening, David perched on his bed and sobbed. He sobbed because he was 41 and needed aid to stand. He sobbed because his son had seen it. He sobbed because he knew he was creating an impression in that boy's head. My dad was fragile. His wife came in. She didn't speak. She just held him and then said, "You need support, Dave." Seriously? On Saturday morning, he called the only pal who'd lost weight and kept it off, a man named Robert, who dropped 32 kilos and looked different, not just leaner, but more whole. "Robert, I need guidance. Did you see a physician? Did you use pills? How did you manage it? Robert hesitated. I did visit a doctor, yes, but not the type you assume. He didn't give me drugs. He gave me a worldview. Philosophy doesn't burn fat, Robert. Dave, what if I said that very mindset holds the key to your freedom? Sometimes the smallest step hides the greatest strength. The body's cry is often the soul's wake-up call. Have you ever wondered if the most powerful transformation could begin with something as simple as a glass of water? The following Thursday, David found himself in a serene consultation space that defied all medical expectations. No clinical charts, no sterile scent, just bamboo flooring, a low table, and panoramic windows framing a Zen garden. Dr. Kenji Sato entered a man in his 60s with poised posture and deliberate movements that radiated monastic calm rather than medical urgency. David, share what carries you here. David unfolded his story, the weight, the exhaustion, the children, the shame, the shrubbery incident. When he finished, anticipating diet, plans, and lab tests, Dr. Sato didn't reach for a computer or prescription pad. He simply asked, how many times have you attempted significant weight loss? 3, perhaps 4 serious tries. And their duration? 2 months maximum, usually just weeks. Dr. Sato nodded slowly. Do you understand why they failed? David began reciting universal excuses, time constraints, genetics, slow metabolism. The doctor raised a gentle hand. No, you failed because you attempted to win a 4-decade war in a 2-month campaign. Your body required 41 years to reach this state. Your mind built these habits over 41 years. Yet you believed you could dismantle them in weeks? The silence hung between them. David, I propose an agreement. I will ask you to make one change today, so minuscule you'll doubt my sincerity. So seemingly insignificant, it appears meaningless. Do you accept? Desperate. David agreed. Excellent. Starting today, each morning upon waking, before any other action, you will drink 1 glass of water. Nothing more. Just 1 glass. Daily for 14 days. Continue your pizza, beer, television. Simply add this morning water ritual. Doctor, respectfully, I need to lose 50 kilograms. Water won't accomplish that. Correct. Water alone won't shed 50 kilos. Doctor, Sato leaned forward. But it will achieve something far more crucial. It will prove you can keep promises to yourself. That proof is what you truly need now. David left bewildered, having paid substantial fees for water advice. Yet the phrase promises to yourself echoed in his mind. How many self-vows had he broken? How many fresh start Mondays collapsed by Wednesday? If he couldn't trust his own word, how could transformation occur? That night, he placed a water glass on his nightstand. At 5:15 the next morning, he drank it. Day 2, repeated. Day 7 brought unexpected change. He woke before his alarm, his mind already seeking the water glass. His brain had begun anticipating the ritual. On day 14, he returned. Did you drink water daily? How do you feel? Frankly, somewhat foolish. No weight lost. But I completed something for 2 full weeks. The doctor smiled. You've just practiced the first principle that will transform your existence. Kaizen, continuous improvement through microscopic changes. You didn't attempt to scale the entire mountain at once. You simply took one step, then another. But doctor, it's just water. It's not about hydration, David. It's about demonstrating to your mind that change is achievable, that you're not someone who abandons commitments. Now, are you prepared for the next phase? What is it? Continue morning, water. But add this. Serve yourself half your usual food portion. You may have more after 20 minutes if genuinely hungry. But start with half. Though skeptical, David had maintained his water ritual for 14 consecutive days. He'd proven something to himself. I'll do it. Excellent. We'll reconvene in 3 weeks. The mightiest oaks grow from smallest acorns. What, doctor? Sato hadn't yet explained, but David would gradually discover was that this wasn't merely habit modification, it was initiation into a complete philosophical system cultivated through Japanese wisdom for centuries. Kaizen served merely as the entrance continuous 1% daily improvement. The understanding that you needn't be perfect tomorrow, just marginally better than today. Improve 1% daily for a year, and you don't achieve 365% growth, you reach 3,778% through exponential mathematics. These minor habits function as keystone behaviors, foundational patterns that trigger cascading positive changes across life domains. They operate like levers or initial dominoes. By mastering one core habit, you accumulate small victories that naturally foster other beneficial routines. Other embedded philosophies remained hidden from David's awareness. That first week with halved portions proved challenging. He'd finish eating and stare at the kitchen, his mind shouting, "You're still hungry, eat more." Then he'd recall Dr. Sato's words, "Wait 20 minutes. If still hungry, eat more." Across 3 weeks, how often did he return for seconds after 20 minutes? Twice. Only twice. Because his body wasn't starving, it was conditioned. Dr. Sato was teaching him hara hachibu without naming it yet, the Okinawan practice of eating until 80% full. The principle recognizes that your stomach requires 20 minutes to signal fullness to your brain. If you eat rapidly from a full plate, you surpass that point only recognizing it through discomfort. At their next meeting, David had lost 3 kilograms. This isn't about weight, Dr. Sato observed. It's about direction. You're now moving where you wish to go. "I feel different," David confessed. "Not just lighter, I feel in control." Because you are. Now, the next step, add movement, but not as you imagine. You'll walk from your doorway to the mailbox and back each morning after water before driving to work. David chuckled. "Doctor, the mailbox is merely 20 meters from my door." True transformation begins where comfort ends. This isn't about physical exertion. It's not even about exercise. It's about rebuilding the fundamental habit of movement. Your body has forgotten its innate capacity to move. You're going to gently remind it 20 meters today. Next week, perhaps you'll feel drawn to the corner, but for now, just to the mailbox. David faithfully followed the doctor's protocol. Morning water, halved portions, mailbox walks. On the 3rd day, his 7-year-old, the daughter noticed him preparing to leave. "Papa, can I join you?" They walked hand in hand to the mailbox. She chatted about school and her closest friend, sharing stories she'd never revealed because her father had always been too weary to listen. Upon returning, she asked, "Can we do this every day?" The following week, David began walking to the corner store, not from medical instruction, but from his daughter's desire. For the first time in years, he accomplished it without gasping for air or back pain. By the 2nd month's end, he'd shed 8 kilograms. But the real shift wasn't numerical. It reflected in the mirror, not in his physique, but in his eyes. A new light shimmered there, previously absent. During their session, Dr. Sato inquired, "David, share with me why you pursuing this. To reduce weight?" "No. Why truly? What is the foundational reason?" David pondered. "Deeply, genuinely. I want to witness my children mature. I want to escort my daughter down the wedding aisle someday. I want meaningful moments with my wife. I want to feel deserving of myself." Dr. Sato nodded. "That is your ikigai, your life purpose. Japanese wisdom holds that everyone possesses an ikigai. Your purpose isn't weight loss. It's being fully present for your family. Weight merely obstructs that purpose." This redefined everything. Now, when David resisted waking early, he didn't recall water or diets. He remembered his daughter's hand in his. When tempted to overload his plate, he didn't count calories. He envisioned walking her down the aisle. Purpose isn't mere motivation. Motivation dwindles. Purpose is perpetual fuel. The greatest changes grow from smallest consistencies. The first stumble. 3 months later, David had lost 14 kilograms. His clothing felt looser. Colleagues inquired about his methods. "Just minor tweaks," he responded. Then arrived Thanksgiving. You know the scene. Tables overflowing with turkey, mashed potatoes, pumpkin pie, pecan pie. The entire family gathered, heaping plates abundantly. While David attempted to portion half, his mother questioned, "Is that all? Are you unwell?" His brother-in-law joked, "Man, it's Thanksgiving. Abandon the diet for today." Social pressure silently sabotages change. People unconsciously urge you to revert because your evolution highlights their stagnation. David yielded. He filled his plate. He ate beyond fullness, engulfed by that familiar dread of failure and overindulgence. That night, he gazed into the mirror and thought, "I've shattered the chain. I'll quit like always." The next dawn, he avoided water. He skipped walking. The ancient pattern of "since I've already failed, why continue?" resurfaced. Then he recalled Dr. Sato's past words, previously incomprehensible. You will fail. And when you do, you'll discover whether genuine change has occurred. He grabbed his phone and messaged the doctor. "Doctor, I overate yesterday. I've destroyed everything. I doubt I can proceed." The reply emerged within 2 minutes. "Come to the office this afternoon." David sat in the familiar chair, anticipating reprimand or inspiration. "Doctor," Sato entered, settled, and said, "Describe what occurred." David detailed Thanksgiving, the pressure, the lapse, the urge to surrender. "Did you drink water this morning?" "No." "Did you walk?" "I walked." "Then you didn't fail. You stumbled." Stumbling and falling differ profoundly. Stumbling means momentarily losing balance. Falling means ceasing movement entirely. The doctor leaned closer. "David, I'll introduce you to wabi-sabi. This Japanese philosophy honors imperfection. It teaches that nothing is permanent, flawless, or finished. True beauty dwells in this incompleteness. You overate one day, so what? That doesn't nullify 14 kilograms lost. It doesn't erase 3 months of early rises and water rituals. It doesn't invalidate walks with your daughter. One flawed day cannot ruin a meaningful journey." David felt an internal fracture, not of himself, but of his perfectionist expectations. "But what if I overeat again?" "You will, repeatedly, and each time you'll awaken the next day and drink water. Because practice isn't about avoiding failure. It's about unwavering return." This revolutionized David's perspective for the first time. He wasn't chasing perfection. He was pursuing consistency. Consistency embraces flaws. Perfection denies reality. "Now, Doctor," Sato continued, "I'll teach you about Gambaru, perseverance, the capacity to endure difficulty. You demonstrated Gambaru today. You overate yesterday, lacked motivation today, yet you drank water and walked regardless. That's Gambaru, bearing temporary discomfort for lasting gain." In subsequent months, David relapsed. Periodically at Christmas, he overindulged. On his son's birthday, he excessive cake. During stressful weekends, he reverted to pizza and beer. But each stumble was followed by return. Morning water, halved portions, walking. Gradually, the lapses diminished in frequency and severity because his brain learned. We don't abandon anymore, we persist. By the 6th month, he'd lost 23 kilograms. Yet the true metamorphosis wasn't weight-related. It emerged when he descended to play Lego with his son and rose effortlessly, without conscious thought. It surfaced when his wife proposed a post-dinner walk, and he agreed instantly. It blossomed on a Saturday when his daughter requested tag, and he chased her through the yard, laughing, sweating, vibrantly alive. His wife observed from the kitchen window, smiling not because his body was transforming, but because his essence was resurrecting. Every stumble is a step in the dance of progress, the revelation. By the 9th month, what if the most profound question remains unasked? What if true transformation isn't about reaching a destination, but about becoming someone new? David had shed 35 kilograms. His daily walks now stretched to 30 minutes, no longer just to the corner. Reducing portions wasn't discipline anymore. His body naturally desired less. But something more profound had shifted, his identity. During their monthly session, Dr. Sato asked, "David, when did you last consider surrendering?" David paused. "Last week? Last month?" He couldn't recall. "I don't know. It's been some time. You know why? Because you ceased trying to change and began living differently. It's no longer about effort, it's about identity. You're not a heavy person attempting weight loss anymore. You're someone who honors his well-being." The doctor produced a paper with 5 interlinked circles. Everything across these 9 months converges here. Ikigai, you discovered purpose beyond weight. Kaizen, you improved 1% daily through water, food, movement. Hara Hachibu, you learned moderation, eating, to 80%. Wabi-sabi, you embraced imperfection, stumbling but always returning. Gambaru, you persevered through difficulty, maintaining momentum with minimal actions. David studied the diagram these 5 principles had orchestrated his rebirth. Doctor, may I keep this? You may, but understand this isn't a weight loss framework, it's a life system. Apply this to career, relationships, finances, anything. Identity shapes action. Action then reinforces identity. The moment of truth. Month 12 brought routine blood tests, his first in years. Previously avoided from fear. The clinic doctor entered with results, examining them perplexedly. David, have you begun new medication? Why? Your cholesterol dropped significantly. Blood pressure normalizes for the first time in years. Blood sugar optimal. What's your regimen? David smiled. Drinking morning water. The physician missed the humor. But David understood. Not 1 glass, but 365 days of microscopic better choices transformed him. Single glasses don't alter cholesterol, but 365 glasses plus 365 half portions plus 365 walks forge a new body. Returning home, he stood shirtless before the mirror first time in 2 decades without shame. No sculpted abdomen remained. Loose skin lingered in areas, perhaps 15 kilograms from ideal, but he saw something deeper. A man who kept daily promises to himself for 1 full year. By month 18, David lost 52 kilograms, reaching 90 kilos, not the world's leanest man, but healthy, strong, present. His daughter's 9th birthday brought a park celebration where children played tag and David chased them. Another parent asked, "How'd you lose all that weight?" He considered explaining Japanese philosophies, Kaizen, Ikigai, Hara Hachibu, but simplified. 1 step at a time. Literally. That night, his wife reflected in bed. Know what I love most? Not the weight loss you returned. The man I married, the father our children deserve. You were physically here before, but absent. Now you're present. David squeezed her hand. I nearly quit countless times, but you didn't. No, I didn't. Stanford research on habit formation reveals most changes fail not from weakness, but excessive speed. Human brains resist drastic shifts as threats, yet microscopic daily changes under 1% bypass. Resistance alarms, hacking your nervous system. Okinawan longevity studies show the longest-lived populations avoid radical diets, instead practicing moderation, constant movement, clear purpose, imperfection, acceptance, and perseverance. These 5 traits consistently appear in global blue zones. A London neuroscientist studying self-discipline explains, willpower depletes daily, but when behaviors become identity, when you stop trying to do and start being, willpower becomes unnecessary. Actions turn automatic, ingrained in self-concept. But the unspoken truth about genuine transformation. David didn't stop at 52 kilograms because his system wasn't about weight loss, it was life construction. Year 2, he applied Kaizen to his career, 1 tiny work improvement, daily earning promotion to regional manager, using identical principles. Year 3, he applied it to his marriage. Discovering their purpose wasn't mere coexistence, but building a partnership where both grew. They began evening walks, meaningful conversations, future planning. Their daughter, now 12, recently recalled, "Papa, remember when you couldn't play with me?" I remember. Me too. But know what I remember most? The day we started walking to the mailbox together. That's when I knew you'd be okay. David realized then, his transformation wasn't solitary, it was familial. When you change, you grant everyone around you permission to change too. His 14-year-old son began morning exercises voluntarily, mirroring his father. His wife started meditating, witnessing change's possibility. Transformation isn't contagious, it's permissive. It grants license. The greatest change gives others permission to transform. The complete system. 2 years after that initial consultation, David weighed 88 kilograms. But the numbers became irrelevant. He had become the system itself. What if the greatest legacy isn't what you achieve, but who you become in the process? David maintained his transformed weight. Morning water remained ritual, daily walks continued. Eating to 80% fullness became his nature, not discipline, but identity. The remarkable evolution, he now guides others. Colleagues witness his metamorphosis and inquire, "How did you achieve this?" His response? "Let me pose a question. What's the tiniest change you can implement today?" Typical answers include, "I'll begin gym sessions." No, smaller, much smaller. Like what? Like drinking one morning glass of water. The person usually laughs. That's it? Just that? Just that for 14 days. Then we'll reconvene. 9 of 10 individuals never return. Still, chasing miraculous solutions, rapid diets, instant transformations, magical supplements. But that 10th person? They reappear after 2 weeks, stating, "I drank water daily. You were correct, I feel different." David recognizes this person has grasped the essence. This person will thrive. Dr. Sato, retired. During their final session, he revealed, "You understand you never truly needed me, yes? Everything I shared already resided within you. I merely granted permission to proceed slowly, to embrace imperfection, to persist through difficulty. But the fortitude was always yours, David. Doctor, I literally couldn't rise from kneeling years ago. Physically, perhaps. But mentally, you rose from kneeling every single day. Each dawn you awakened, worked, supported your family, endured exhaustion, frustration, shame. You always possessed Gambaru. You simply didn't recognize it." This revelation shattered David. "So I only required awareness?" No. You needed a framework that honored your humanity. A system that didn't demand superhero transformation overnight. A methodology that accepted your imperfections, weariness, and utilized them for transformation rather than fighting against them. The Japanese philosophies I shared aren't about perfection, they're about embracing humanity and continuing forward daily without cessation. David embraced Dr. Sato that day with profound gratitude, not for saving his life, but for returning it. The strongest foundations are built with patience, not force. The living legacy. David's living room displays 2 photographs. One shows him at 143 kilograms, seated in a lawn chair, observing his children play present but not participating. Adjacent hangs another. Him at 88 kilograms on the floor, building Lego with his son, his daughter joyfully climbing his back. His wife captured the second image secretly. When he noticed it, he asked, "Why this photograph?" She answered, "Because this moment, I've awaited it 10 years. The moment you returned." But the story's core isn't weight loss, reversed prediabetes, or career advancement. His 12-year-old daughter recently told a school friend, "My father is the most disciplined person I know, having witnessed his daily water ritual, consistent walks, stumbles, recoveries, and perseverance." She learned transformation stems not from motivation but identity. When she reaches 20, 30, 40, when life challenges, she'll remember her father proved change, achievable through microscopic daily choices. This is the true inheritance, not a transformed body, but living evidence that you can become who you choose with patience, brick by brick. Now, I pose to you a question. Your presence here, having watched this far, indicates you're seeking something. Perhaps weight loss like David, or overcoming addiction, or simply feeling you're not living your destined life. You might think, "This won't work for me. My situation is unique, more complex." You're correct, your circumstances differ, but the system remains identical. Because regardless of your challenge, bad habits, addictions, desired life changes, the obstacle is never information deficiency. Better nutrition, exercise, rest, moderation, presence are necessary. Knowledge isn't. The barrier implementation is. And you cannot implement because you attempt everything simultaneously. You strive to become someone new overnight. You try winning a 20-year war in a 3-week battle. Each attempt ends in failure, reinforcing I can't do this until it becomes identity. I lack discipline. I am weak. But you're not. You're using a flawed system. This framework isn't about rapid change, it's about permanent evolution. You don't require 30 days of transformation, you need 30 years of consistency. And consistency only emerges when simplicity sustains through difficult days. So I extend the same challenge Dr. Sato gave David. Select one, change the smallest conceivable. So minute you'll feel foolish, so tiny it appears meaningless. 1 morning water glass, 5 evening push-ups, 60 seconds of meditation, 1 book page, anything. But it must be so small that excuses become irrelevant. Maintain this for 14 days. Don't add anything else. Don't accelerate. Just this one microscopic action daily. Upon reaching day 14, you'll have proven something fundamental. Not that you can lose weight or quit smoking, but that you can keep promises to yourself. That proof is everything. Because when you know you can honor small commitments, you know you can honor any commitment. Then add another tiny change, then another. Before realization, you've become someone new, not from forced change, but constructed identity. One microscopic choice at a time. David required years. You might need 3. Time progresses regardless. The question, in 5 years, will you remain stagnant, facing mirrors with shame, or will you behold someone who fulfilled every self-promise? Ikigai provides purpose. Kaizen offers methodology. Hara Hachibu teaches moderation. Wabi-sabi grants self-compassion. Gambaru supplies strength. You needn't adopt all immediately. Begin with one today. When you stumble, and you will, you don't surrender. You simply resume. Because practice isn't about avoiding falls, it's about consistent recovery. If this content resonated, assisted you somehow, I invite you to comment below. What microscopic change will you initiate today? Don't share grand transformation plans, just the first step, the tiniest one, tomorrow's initial action. By writing it publicly, you convert idea into commitment. Public declaration births change. I'll endeavor reading every comment. In 2 weeks, I'll return, witnessing who followed through, who drank water, performed push-ups, took that first microscopic step toward becoming their desired self. You needn't be perfect. You need only begin. Your viewing this far merits immense gratitude for your attention and time. This signifies genuine commitment to transformation. Until next video, remember, stay present, walk with integrity. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one small step.